Hi, this is Brandon with Clearwater Conceptions. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to our modular electronics prototyping system. Let's take a look. Before we take a closer look in our module system, let's do a quick look at how prototyping has been done. Prototyping has mainly revolved around either a solderless breadboard, perf board where you solder it up, a just PCB material and soldering components on top of that, or making a custom circuit board for your project. Now these all have an issue that has bugged me for years that I have struggled with, that we feel our module system addresses. And that's that there isn't any mechanical element to it. If you put components in the breadboard, they can be pretty sturdy if you have a good quality breadboard. This one's pretty old and a lower quality one, so wires and components come out very easily. But if you wanted to attach this to anything external, those wires will pop out no problem. Plus, there's no rigidity between that external component and the breadboard. If you had some component or circuit over here you needed to connect this to, they're just floating around. And that's okay for a quick test, but if you needed to give that to a customer, or you needed to take it somewhere and use it, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. These binding posts help a little bit, but having just 3 or even 4, it sometimes doesn't even cover your power supply requirements. Besides breadboards for making very fully custom circuits, you can also buy demonstration and evaluation boards. Now with these you can use a complicated component, surface mount, or high power like this buck boost converter, 12 volts at 12 amps, it's 144 watts. You can then use these in a project, but you have the same problem again. It's not like you can plug these into a breadboard and experiment with it, and if you have some wires coming off of it, you have to make sure to tape it down so you're not yanking off pads, but then you have that same problem with what you're connecting it to. And then you have these two things floating around. You could get an enclosure or some kind of back plane and lay out and drill holes and get all the hardware for mounting these, but then that's all very customized. The whole pattern for this does not match up with the whole pattern for this, and the whole pattern for a breadboard is totally different. So you have all this mixture of different methods. So we've just come up with a very simple solution to standardize that. Our back planes have holes for a number 4 screw on a 1/2 inch grid. That gives us a lot of flexibility in the size of each module. Here's one of the smaller ones. They can go even smaller. This one's, the screw holes are 1 inch square, and then it's 200 mils to the edge of the board from that, which leaves, just enough clearance for the screw basically. And you have all that room inside for the circuit. We have modules made for breadboards, and these are high quality breadboards too. So your wires will stay in there well, and you won't have intermittent connections. We have a variety of connectors available as modules, so then you can connect to the outside world stably. Here's a screw terminal block with 4. All you need is a screwdriver. And the great thing about these is not only you have these different modules solidly mounted and connect them together, it's also reusable and flexible. If you were to make your own circuit and you needed multiple sections, you could either build it all together, like what I did in this prototype that I did a while ago. You make all those sections, put it all on one board, and then if anything goes wrong in any of those sections, the whole board is either scrap or you need to dig in there with a knife and put in jumper wires. If you broke it down into modules, you could then evaluate and test each individual section separately. You can hook them together, test them as a system. If you need to make a change in this section, all you need to do is make a new revision of this one board and repopulate just this one board. And then when you're all done, you have your prototype that works. It's solid, so you can take it out into the field. You can give it to a customer and feel confident it's not going to fall apart. Plus, once that project is over, you could take the modules off and reuse them in other projects. You're most likely going to need a power amplifier for another project, or a test setup, or a connector, or a switch. Additionally, if you make your product, if you start off with a modular design like this for your product, and then you transition to an all-in-one circuit board with everything integrated, you then have this as a reference. If you ever come up with any problems with this, after producing many of them, you can go back to the modular version and look at each section separately, insert things in between the sections if needed, and evaluate what's going on. After you're happy with your design, you've tested it, after you get your design set up and you've tested it on the bench, the next step is to give it to a customer or use it out in the field somewhere. Use it in a factory, maybe even outside, maybe in a home. So you need to put it in some sort of case. The consistent nature of the grid pattern makes it easy to lay out mounting holes to mount the whole back plane if you like. Or we've also set up several cases for you. Here's a nice one from Hammond. It has extruded aluminum guides for cards. And we made a back plane for it. It slides right in there. This one happens to be large enough that you can take this whole 6x6 back plane and mount it directly on there if you like. Switch is a little high though. You could take all these modules off and just put them on here, or if you didn't have an issue with height, you could take the whole 6x6 module and put it right on there. We also have several weather resistant durable boxes with backplanes. These are mounted using vibration absorbing standoffs made out of a special rubber like material made by 3M. They absorb vibration very well and they're compliant. So if this gets banged around, it's not going to transfer as much of that vibration to your sensitive circuits. This also has enough room where you can layer them too. If a 6x6 backplane isn't big enough for your project, or you just want some more elbow room, our largest right now is a 12x12, which has tons of room. We have a variety of different sized breadboards. This one's kind of the medium size, this one's really small and super small. We have a few solder prototyping boards as well, which kind of match up with those. We have an adapter board for the Raspberry Pi. Right now there's a Raspberry Pi 4 on there. It also has holes for a Raspberry Pi 0. So you can mount this on the back plane and connect it to your project. We have a variety of different connectors available at the moment. And we have more coming all the time. After you're done with your project, whether for the day or the week, you can easily just put the whole back plane on a circuit board rack. So you can line up all your projects and come back to them whenever you're ready. I hope that video helped you understand what our modular prototyping system is all about and how it may be useful to you. If you're doing prototypes often, this can be very powerful because you can break your design down into modules that can easily be interchanged and solidly mounted into a complete system. We feel it fills the gap between the old ways of prototyping and a complete custom circuit board. We are super excited about it, and the ability to just easily take this and toss it into a case and move it between different cases as needed is extremely powerful. You can have it on your bench with some rubber feet just on a back plane. You could put it in a desktop case, and then let's say you need to travel for a trade show. You could throw it into a durable case that you can take with you on an airplane and carry around and show people and not worry about your electronics being damaged. I hope you check out our future videos and check out our products online, and keep checking up because we're going to be making new modules all the time, and we would love any input from you from what kind of modules that you would like to see. And if you want a custom module made, we'd be more than happy to quote you on it. And if it's something that you're willing to let us resell on our store, and it's something that we think that we can market, we'd be happy to give you a discount on the design for the modules that you're needing. Till next time.